Jimmy and also Li recently wrote in the same question. Wrestlers bleeding all over each other in the ring. To what extent did the wrestling promotions you worked for require clean blood tests for their performers? I'd imagine that the big companies these days demand it for liability reasons. Do the tiny indie shows? I can't imagine they do. But what was the case historically, considering the amount of intravenous drug use and casual sex that was going on back in the days? They've tarred you with the brush of casual sex and intravenous drug use.
Yeah.
You personally, Dutch. I'm actually amazed that loads of wrestlers didn't end up with HIV or Hep C. So, blood issues and disease and stuff like that. I think we may have talked about this before, but did it ever enter your mind the true horrors of a bloodborne disease contracting one?
Oh, yeah, a lot. Imagine going in the ring with a notorious bleeder, say like Abdullah. Because sometimes he just bleed for the hell of it. And Carlos Colon. And yeah, I thought about that. I showed my head. Remember I showed my head? Look, not too bad, huh? Because I refused to do it. I just did. I said, I didn't sign up for blood. I signed up for wrestling. And see, sometimes somebody'd say, and I'd always put it on my finger. There's different ways to do it, to carry the blades. Some guys would put it in their trunks, or, I would put it on my finger and tape over it. Sometimes I was supposed to get blood, and I would tape my finger up. Then I'd go to the ring. I said, "You got the blade?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I got it." And I'd hold this up. This one, the finger I put it on, this one here. Guess what I'd do? I just tape my finger up and conveniently forget to put the blade on there. And then he said, "Why didn't you get any color?" I said, "Oh, I broke my blade. I broke it, trying to get the tape off of it." And, he said, "Oh, well, but nobody's going to check it anyway." Yeah, that was getting that disease in. It stopped a lot. And as far as taking blood tests, I don't think I ever took one, but WWF.
Yeah. So when you were in the WWF in the mid-90s, because I know they were doing drug testing at that time, but did they do blood tests or, general tests to make sure your heart was pumping and that kind of thing?
No, they just did a physical, and you took blood tests, but I don't even think they were looking for that. I think they were looking for drugs. You caught AIDS or hepatitis or some of that stuff. But see, where you really got to watch is the ring cover. If somebody has gone in there before, and you watch WWE, because you don't see blood there anymore. But back in the days where you did see it, soon as blood was spilled in a match or it got on the mat, they'd go change that mat. They'd put a fresh one on it, and they would always bring like at least 2 extra ring mats, ring covers, just in case of something like that. And they would change the mat. But I don't think anybody ever caught it except one guy. What was his name? He does a podcast now.
Oh, well, there's a few. So there's Hannibal, but as far as like people who actually made it in the business, Abdullah the Butcher has Hep C. Bob Orton Jr. was fired from WWE in the mid-2000s or something like that because he had hepatitis and he bladed and he never told them, WWE, that he had Hep C. But I'm surprised. I mean, there must be more. But of all the people out there, all the wrestlers that have bladed all over the years, it's surprising that there hasn't even been an AIDS epidemic, let alone a hepatitis epidemic in wrestling. I wonder why that is.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. But Abdullah got sued by Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
He got sued, and I don't really understand it. And he won his suit, but he didn't get any money because I think I think Abdullah filed bankruptcy, so he'd take everything. So he'd end up showing nothing. He'd be worth nothing. But he won a sizable amount.
Oh yeah, like millions, like 2 million or something.
Something like that. But he didn't get anything. I don't think.
No, he didn't get a thing. So,
and I asked him, I said, why would you even do that? And he says, well, he was just stupid. I said, that stuff can kill you. But I have a fear of blood anyway, because I got cut when I was I was about 6. I cut my foot on a broken beer bottle. It went up like this, and my foot went right down on it. Oh my God. It took like 90 stitches. And I was 6 years old. Maybe not 90, 70. It was a lot of stitches. It was double stitches too. They had to go. It was so deep. But I've been afraid of blood since then. So even going to stick a needle in my arm just to test my blood, I'm passing out. That's the last thing I remember is blood. It was hot. I was sweating and smelling alcohol. And you put any of those together, and I'm gone. Well, I don't really go out. I just get faint a little bit.
Did you, for safety reasons, did you ever ask somebody to not bleed in a match with you?
No, not really. No.
It was just sort of like, well, it's your business. You do it.
Well, nobody would bleed unless it was called for. You would know about it. I mean, somebody going in the ring and just cutting themselves, I would come out of the ring and say, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, shit, if you're going to do that, you need to tell me so I can leave. But all of a sudden the guys, but it never happened to me. And I don't know anybody who would do that. Now, some guys I know would like to get a hard way. You know what a hard way is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where you bust them across the eye, and that thing would open up. A guy taught me one time, Don Fargo. You remember the name?
I remember the name.
Don Fargo was an old time. He was bodybuilder, but he was like, I learned how to do a hard way without doing the hard way. You do a pre-blade, you do a pre-cut in the dressing room, right there, right on that bone right there. You cut across that, and then you new skin it together to where it starts bleeding. Then you got to hold your hand there till it coagulates and stops bleeding. Then you new skin it just a little bit and go in a ring. So then the first pop you get there, it looks like the guy really opens you up. And so nobody's looking for a blade. Nobody's looking for this or that, the other. So what video did I see? Oh, CM Punk. Did you see that? When he got up under the bench at the announce table, somebody was shooting behind it.
Yeah.
And you saw. So, but